Hello Year 10, I'm just going to go through and do the purple pen work for both the online assessment on MathsWatch and also the purple pen for the paper-based assessment. I have returned your scores to you, but this is your chance to go through, make your corrections and just drop me a little comment in the box which says yes, you have done it. Okay, I'm going to start with the MathsWatch one. I'm just going to change the camera to do that. Okay, so in the MathsWatch BLE version of the test, started with question 1, which was to find the volume of this cuboid. Now remember, we're going to need the cross section first, which is this bit at the front, and then we're going to times by how long it is. So I'm going to do this in 2 stages. My first bit is my cross section. Well, that's base, which is 10, times my height, which is 6. So 10 times 6, that's 60. I then do my volume equals my cross section, which is this 60, times by how long the shape is. So it's 60 times by 8, calculator test all the way through today, so 60 times by 8 equals 480, and don't forget my units, centimetres squared. Next part was to find the volume of this cube. Well, if it's a cube, that means everything is 5 centimetres. So again, I'm doing my cross section first, so my cross section here, 5 times 5 is 25, my volume is my cross section, 25, times by how long the shape is, which means I get 125 centimetres cubed. The first one should obviously be cubed as well. Next one, I've got a cylinder. Find the volume of this cylinder, give your answer to 1 decimal place. So my volume equals my cross section times by the length. My cross section this time is a circle. So we've got pi times by 9 times by 9, and I'm going to do 3.14 for pi. So 3.14 times 9 gives me 254.34. My volume is then my cross section, 254.34, times by my length. Now my length in this case is 20. So I times that by 20, I can do it all on my calculator in one go, and it gives me 5086.8, and my units are centimetres cubed. Next question was all about finding the volume of a triangular prism. So again, my volume is my cross section times by the length. Cross section is a half times the base times the height, because it's a triangle this time. And you'll notice this 6 is not on the diagonal, it's going straight up. So that's a half times 6 times 7. Again, got my calculator so I can put it in. Half times 6 times 7 gives me 21. And then my volume is that cross section 21 times by the length of my shape, which is 10. So it's 210 centimetres cubed. Don't know what my obsession with squared is today. Okay, next one is a square-based pyramid. It gives us the volume formula in the question, so 1/3 times the area of the base times the perpendicular height. So let's do the area of the base first. So the area of the base is 17.2 times by 17.2. Not something you can do in your head. 17.2 times 17.2, which gives me 295.84. Don't round that yet. So then my volume is 1/3 times by 295.84 times by the height of my shape, 24.4. Now putting this in your calculator, you can either do 0.333333, or you can use the fraction button. So 1/3 times 295.84 times 24.4 gives us an answer of 2406.165333. Okay, if we want to round that to 1 decimal place, 2406.2, and all my units are in centimetres, so it's centimetres cubed. My next question, working through this paper, this time it's a cone. Okay, and the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. Remember, pi r squared equals the area of the base. So again, I can use the same formula as before, 1/3 times base times height. So let's do the base first. So I get pi times 8 times 8. I'm using 3.14 again. That gives me 200.96. I then do my volume, which is 1/3, times by that 200.96, times by my height, 15. Now if you watch the revision video, we can cross out any measurements that are not useful to us. So I'm going to use the fraction button on my calculator. I'm going to use 1/3. I'm going to times that by 200.96, and I'm going to times that by 15, which means I get an answer of 1004.8 centimetres cubed. 2 questions to go. Next one is a sphere, and it's 4/3 pi r cubed. So we do 4/3 times by pi, 3.14, times by 7, times by 7, times by 7. This was just a can you put numbers in the calculator. So use my fraction button, 4/3, times by pi, 3.14, times 7, times 7, times 7, gives me an answer of 1436.026667, which we can round to 1436.03 centimetres cubed. Last but not least, compound shape to finish us off. Okay, we know that we've got a length of the shape, which is 6, and our volume is our cross section times by the length. So I've just got to work out the area of that cross section. I'm just going to draw the shape out again to help me. Okay, sometimes helps to have it in 2D. Got 15 centimetres here, 8 centimetres here, 12 centimetres here, and 5 centimetres at the top. Okay, now the whole thing's 15 and that's 5, it means this must be 10. The whole thing's 12 and this bit's 8, means this bit must be 4. So I'm going to split my shape this way. I've got 12 times 5, which is 60. I've got 10 times 8, which is 80. And so my cross section is 60 plus 80, which is 140 centimetres squared. Now my volume is that 140 times by the length, which is 6. Again put into my calculator, so I've got 140 times 6, and I get an overall answer of 840 centimetres cubed, and that's that test finished. Okay, this is the paper-based version of the volume assessment, ready to be purple penned. Question 1. Which of the following is not a measurement of volume? 1 millimetre cubed is, cubic centimetre is, so you're left with a 50-50 choice. Litre is an amount of liquid, so it is a measurement of volume, and metre is not. Question 2. Which of these shapes has the greater volume? Well, remember we're looking at the volume is the cross section times by the length. This is a cube, so everything's 5 centimetres. I'm going to take this bit to be my cross section. This is a cuboid. I'm going to take this bit to be my cross section. Start with the cube first. My cross section is 5 times 5, which is 25, which means my volume is 25 times by 5, which gives us an answer of 125 centimetres cubed. For the cuboid, my cross section is 5.5 times 3.5, and then I'm going to multiply that cross section by how long it is. So my volume equals, let's just work out the area of the cross section first, 5.5 times 3.5, so that's 19.25, so 19.25 times 6.5, which means my volume is 125.125 centimetres cubed. Which has the greater volume? It's the cuboid. Looking at marks, you get 1 mark here, 1 mark here, 3rd mark, writing cuboid in your answer. Question 2, or question 3 even, on the second page. A cylinder has a radius of 4 and a height of 6. I'm going to do myself a little sketch. So my height is 6, my radius is 4. My formula is still volume equals cross section times length. My cross section, being a circle, is pi times radius, so we can work that out straight away. And it says leave your answer in terms of pi. So pi times 4 is 16 pi. If you have worked it out, you should have 50.24. I can then do my volume, which is 16 pi times 6, So 16 times 6 gives me 96 pi. If I times that by 3.14 and I've worked it out, I'm going to get 301.44. My answer should be, for 2 marks, 96 pi. If you've got 301.44, you're just getting the 1 mark. There's just a mark there for leaving it in terms of pi. Triangular prism, work out the volume. So volume is my cross section times the length. That's my cross section, okay, which is a half, because it's a triangle, times by the base times by the height, gives me 7.5. My volume is my 7.5 times by how long it is, so I do 7.5 times by 8, which gives me 60 centimetres cubed, and that's going to be my answer. So if you've got this 7.5, you get your first mark, that gets you the next mark, and that gets you mark number 3. Question 5. Slightly more difficult this time. We've got a square-based pyramid, but it does give us the formula: 1/3 times the area of the base times by the height. So I'm going to do the base first. That's 12.9 times 12.9. Chuck that into my calculator, and I get an area of the base of 166.41, which means I can then do my volume is 1/3 times by 166.41 times by my height, which is 17.4. Remember, to do the third, you're probably going to need to use the fraction key. So 1/3 times 166.41 times 17.4. I get an answer of 965.178 centimetres squared. So 965.178 centimetres squared. 1 mark for this, 1 mark for the working out, 1 mark for your answer on that line at the bottom. Question number 6. I've got a cone. Calculate the volume of a cone. Well, remember the volume of a cone is 1/3 times by the base times by the height. So let's do the base first. So the base is a circle, so it's pi r squared. So pi times 3 times 3. Type that into my calculator. 3 times 3 times by pi gives me 28.26. I then do my volume, which is 1/3 times by that base, 28.26, times by the height, which is 8. So use my fraction button. 1/3 times 28.26 times by a height of 8 gives me 75.36. 1 mark for that bit there, 1 mark for that there, and then you get your final mark for having 75.36 as your answer down the bottom. Last but not least then, question number 7. Got the volume of a sphere, and it's asking me to work backwards to find out my radius. So to do that, what I'm going to end up doing is, I've got my volume is 36 pi. That equals 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. Just like solving an equation, I'm going to do some opposites. I'm going to divide by pi on both sides, so I get 36 equals 4/3 times the radius cubed. I'm going to divide by 4/3, so I can do that on my calculator. 36 divided by 4/3, so I get 48 equals r cubed. Then going to work out r by taking the cube root on both sides. So I'm going to do the cube root of 48. My calculator is that button there. Cube root 48. Get my answer. R equals 3.63 to 2 decimal places. Any of those steps gets you your first mark. That gets you your second one. Right at the bottom there. Hope that's been helpful. Make sure you answer the purple pen. Ready for a new topic next week.